Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on April 28th, 2022 at approximately 7:40 a.m. PST. Well, time to get really carried away with how we're moving forward. I made some notes at the last one, and, well, before I get into it, I return to this lifetime, to this specific lifetime, to remind everyone in existence that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now, the key to it is that you have to start here with the individual. Now, there is not a soul out there that is any different than the next in one aspect. Well, in a couple of aspects. Number one, everyone is starting right here, right now. Whatever your past, however you got to where we are, you're here now. Okay, so with that in mind, take a look at everything about you. What your financial state is, your orientation, your religious beliefs, doesn't matter. They all are a culmination of what you've been through in your life. No person's life is more valuable than the next, at least not in my opinion. Now, if you take a look at the struggles that people go through, and I'm going to look at kids specifically, what seems insurmountable to a child may be just a whatever to an adult. But to the child, that insurmountable obstacle is just as viable, just as big a complication to them as that insurmountable obstacle that an adult runs into. And this is where working together comes in handy. Okay, now, I'm not perfect by any functional stretch. Okay, there's a lot of things I'm not. But the only two things that I can honestly guarantee, as it were, is first of all, the two, and you've only got my word to go for it, but that's what we work with. First of all, the tools I offer are exactly the same tools I personally use. Okay, so when I talk about being a spiritual guide, okay, these tools are ones I personally use. I'm not telling you do this. I'm going to do this and you go and do this thing over here. Do what I say, not what I do. I'm going to tell you point blank. If it applies to my life, okay, I'm doing it. Okay. One of the few tools I've given people that I never actually put to use myself was how to quit smoking because I never started. At least I never started with standard tobacco. Okay. Now, if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel because there's a lot of information coming out and it's finally starting to come out in what I consider a functionally organized organized fashion. Now, this said, not only are we all in the same boat, but we all are responsible, we are the only one. You're the only one that can be successful for you. You cannot be successful for somebody else. You can certainly guide people and say, here's a tool that has worked for me. Give it a shot. And the reality is the best tools in the world are totally useless if you don't pick them up. Okay, so I decided that today I was going to deal with how to determine success. What is success to you? Now, success to me may not be the same as it is to you. Okay. And yes, I am currently, and will be working more on it today. I am currently working on a book designed to explain exactly how success can be made in broad terms. But these tools apply to everyone, very much like the tools in these two books. Okay. This one here. Now, these books, when I put them together, okay, they are designed to be very small. Okay, very easy to read. This one is Believe in Yourself and Follow Your Dreams. Okay, revolving around the idea of putting you together. This one is called Believe in Your Business and Follow Your Dreams. As you can well imagine, that means we are talking about believing in your business, in your idea. not in what other people say is possible. I will tell you, there's an old saying that goes, it would be nice if those of you that are saying it's impossible to do something would get out of the way and just keep quiet, while those of us that believe it's possible are out there doing it. Okay. I do like, and I think I'm quoting this correctly, or at least paraphrasing it. The American military has a real wonderful outlook. Okay, the outlook I heard from it was the difficult we're already doing, the impossible just takes us a little longer. And that is the same thing with success. The key to success is, first of all, accepting the fact that it is possible. Now, there is a video that I've done under the subheading language on possible, I believe, anyway. If not, I will be checking that when I get done this video. Okay, and get that one done. Now, the neat little issue here is I'm in the process of writing another booklet on how to be successful. And I'm likely to do an expansion. I was just thinking if I put out the little one, okay, because the little books are done this size, okay, and what I'm thinking of, and I'm still working on the title for it, okay, I'm still working on the title for it, so I'll get back to you on that. But when we are talking about your success, you have to have a couple of very important things in place. Okay. And that is, first, you got to realize you're the one that's going to have to do the work. You're the one, regardless of who tells you what, of what tools you are handed. You're the one that is going to have to get up and do it. Even the people you're trying to encourage, that you're encouraging to be successful, you got to remember, it's what they see as success. Now, for me, it was just absolutely fantastic from my standpoint. I view the way my office is laid out right now as successfully laying it out. Okay, I've managed to get my computers and my computer. I've only got a laptop, but I have 3 monitors attached to it that are interlinked. They're just extended. The desktop is simply expanded onto them, so I don't have to change monitors. I just move my mouse around. I've got that. I've got my work phone. I've got my printer right here. I could use an extra desk, which I may well pick up at some point. I don't know, just a little spot thing, right? So I can work with. But the reality of it is, to me, that was a successful setup. And of course, this also includes having the floor completely cleared out, except the power bar that everything plugs into, and my paper shredder. Because I got the garbage right here. I don't have to move from here for most of the day because everything's set up. The whole catch to it from my end is that I've got to take the time to really look at the issue and go, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is how I'm seeing things. Okay. And what do we got here? I've just got messages coming in that I will have to get done as soon as I'm done here. But success for you may be what I just laid out. Get your office up and running. Now, I've got inventory over here. The various books that are listed beneath this video, okay, are in stock. Okay, which means, like the other day, I had somebody come in, okay, and they asked about both of these. Okay, they ordered and they paid for them online with PayPal, and I had them out the following week. And the only reason I had them out the following week was because they ordered them on the Friday of Easter weekend, which meant the post office wasn't open until Tuesday. Okay, I'm happy to report that I sent them out and they arrived. I got word they had arrived, so that's fantastic. Now, success may be limited to to your office. Maybe you see success as I've got all the mess in my home cleared out, which is one of the little steps of things I'm working towards. Okay. I have taken a look at my life and gone, here's what I desire. And here's the thing. Okay. I take a look at this little list here. Okay. And I got to set one up for today because it looks kind of haphazard at this point. But I keep a running list of the things that I've got to get done, and then you check them off. You start off with 3. Okay. Yeah, and where you start is right where you're sitting, right here, right now. Pick 3 things that you know are out of place. Like, for instance, okay, I can take a look at my office right here. Okay, and I can tell you that I've got to get this paperwork. This paperwork's out of the way. I've got a book right in front of me that you can't quite see that I'm writing on, because here I've got my hard and my soft copy of the Yldrbac Chronicles that I'm working on. You know, I've got the soft copy there, which is fantastic from my standpoint. I've got up here, and this one's blank right now because I've got a movie usually running on there, but I don't desire to have, like, I don't require the distraction right now, and that all the moving picture will create some distraction. Okay, and I've got the compendium, which is a major work that's going to encompass all of the novels I'm working on. Okay, so that's all set. Now you may find that that what you see as success is having all of the clutter in your house gone. That is one of the goals I've got, and that's where this comes in. Okay, that's where this list comes in. You take a look right where you are and go, okay, what am I not content with? Right? Yeah, I just spotted a receipt here. Oh, it's cash withdrawal. Okay. Well, that, I already know where that is. There, now it's gone. Like I said, I got a shredder down. Now, you may yourself be looking at your house and go, for this, and for me to feel successful, I just want my home set up so if somebody comes over, I'm content with the way my house looks. Okay. I'm content so I feel like I've got a good home to present to people. Now, for me, it's simple. I'm not interested in whether other people are happy with my home. Okay, I'm interested with whether I am. So since I've got a client coming over today, one of the first things I have to do as soon as I'm done with this video is I've got to go up and make sure that there's room for them to work, because I've got a consultation coming in. Now, I've been working in the consulting field. I've been working in it since I was 10. I started publicly working on it when I was 13, when I was 23. Professionally working, as in generating an income. Okay. But it boils down to, and that reminds me, that sign, I've got that neat little sign down there right now that I've got to find a place to put, which is a sign that says, I am worth it. And I'm not entirely certain how I'm going to mount it just yet, but I'll figure it out. Okay. So with that in mind, and I'm wondering if it might fit there. We'll check that out afterwards. You may see your clutter being the sign of success. Get rid of all the junk. I just went through. I've got a linen closet that had, like, I've only got two beds in my house. One for me, one for my son. I don't need 15 sets of sheets, right? So I just took a number of sets of sheets and a number of quilts, boxed them up, and sent them down to a thrift shop. Okay, where other people can put them to use instead of throwing them in the garbage. Yeah, I could have gone, I'm selling them. I absolutely could have. But I'm a firm believer if I can find somebody I can give them to, I will. When you're looking at the clutter in your house, pick the room you're in right now. That's the best one to start with instead of looking wherever. Okay, now where you work on your finances, that is the brain of the house and of the home. Okay, it's also the connection between you and your house and home. So get the energy in that running smoothly. Organize it. Feng Shui works like an absolute charm. Okay, but break it down. Break the tasks down. Like, for instance, I had to clear my office desk and my floor. So that got done. Right. My son was kind enough to come in and vacuum the floor, so I didn't have to do that one. Okay, now what I've got is if you look behind us here, see if we can get that out of the way. Okay, those are all books that I'm working on. Okay, those are all books in inventory. Now the ones, of course, up on this shelf are organized as well. That's my Tolkien collection. J.R.R. Tolkien, The Hobbit, was the first book I ever read that I personally had trouble putting down. So you get the energy in your house working. The lighthouse, of course, it's simply a model. Well, it's a metal lighthouse, but it is representative of what I'm aiming to do, which is why when I take a look at this, you can't see it well, but on the back of this picture, oh, you can see it, not bad. You notice this lighthouse right here. Okay, that lighthouse that's a photocopy of that one up there that I personally own. Okay, which is why it works in my eyes. But the idea behind it was simple. It represents a guiding light. Okay, and when you take a look at the tasks in your house, break them down into 15-minute to half-hour tasks. In this way, you can get them tied off, checked off, and at the end, once you check one off, add a third one to the bottom. Okay, by doing that, you will be able to see progress throughout the day, even if it doesn't feel like you're making a lot of headway. But you're the one that has to figure out what success is. Is it just getting your home in order? Is it running a local like a local family style corner store or grocery store? Are you interested in running a call center? Having people phoning that you deal with. You know how a call center works, I hope. Maybe you're looking a little bigger. Maybe you're looking at a franchise setup where you can have more than one business running that you're not personally at. Okay. Or perhaps you desire to go a little bigger and you'd like to go international. Okay. Or maybe intercontinental. But the tools that I offer are basic tools that are usable by all levels of industry, by all branches of industry. Okay, whether we are talking a care home, a household, an intercontinental, major corporation, the principles are all the same. Okay, and the reason they're all the same is because the principles I talk about are the backbone of what makes a business work. Now, the reality is this little sheet here is the other neat little tool. I have legally acquired a minimum of 3,500 by April 30th of 2022 at 1 minute to midnight. My business is Inner Voice Enterprises, has legally generated a minimum of $600 by April 30th, 2022 at 1 minute to midnight. Now that 600 is part of this. Okay. The reason I do that is it keeps me centered on what I'm aiming for. And I do believe, and I'm just going to double check to make sure, Where are we? Here we go. Okay, go up here and open this file. And where are we? Empire. Okay, now if I look at my basics, I have that 3,500 I was looking at making and acquiring. That money comes from employment, self-employment, government checks, any found money, any gifts, anything that comes in legally without strings attached. And what I mean by that is if you're getting a loan, that's not acquiring money. Okay. And for pity's sake, stay away from loan sharks. Okay. I will tell you, more often than not, if you're going for these things called payday loans, they're a great thing for the payday, for the person putting the payday loan out. But if you take a look at it and you check with the company and they tell you we'll give you X dollars for such and such a wage, for such and such an extra amount. More often than not, the interest rates are insanely high. Okay. But if you're going to have to wait, unless it is a critical issue, I mean, I understand the issue of going on payments if your car blows up and you have to have another car, or if your washer and dryer or your fridge go, you get the idea. They're required right away. But if it's simply a new laptop you want, or a new computer, or a new TV, they are not a requirement. Now, you may think they are, but ask yourself this. You work it out, and I'm just giving you a rough gauge. I'm not giving you actual numbers. But if you work it out and you buy and pay for a TV on layaway on a payment plan, okay, you're going to be paying, say, $100 a month for a year. Okay. Now, that means that television, before you actually own it, is going to cost you $1,200. Okay. If, on the other hand, you wait 2 months, putting $100 a month aside that you would have had to pay for the financing fee, it'll take you 4, maybe 5 months, and that TV is yours free and clear. Okay. Really take a look at what you're considering luxury, what you're considering necessity. Now, the obvious issue I've run into with many people is they'll turn around and they'll go, but I really need I'm behind in my power, I'm behind in my cable. I've got to get my cable paid because I've got to have that. I've got to have my cable. But think about it. If you don't have your power paid, the TV is going to be useless even if the bill is paid up. So the order of bills that is absolutely required for you to be successful in any function, you've got to have 2 bills are a critical issue for every one of you. Okay, your rent or your mortgage. And rest assured, unless you are not paying land taxes, you're renting. Call it what you will, you're renting. Because I will tell you this. I rent my place. And when I bring somebody over, I invite them over to my place. Okay, if you own your home and you're still paying land taxes, you're still renting the land. But you still don't say, come over to the president's house or come over to the prime minister's house. You're saying, come over to my house. Okay, so it's the same thing. And what you have to realize is when you look at it that way, no matter how you're doing it, okay, the true mark of success is whether you're content with your life. Okay, and it's very critical you get that sorted around as soon as you can. Now, the tools I talk about apply to everyone. If I am talking about a tool that is missing somebody or that doesn't apply to a group, absolutely let me know. It's very much like the 3 karmic laws that I follow. Be true to yourself first. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. Energy out, energy in. by following those three karmic laws. Compare them to the laws that you follow. Okay, doesn't matter what they are. As far as I've been able to find, every one of the laws I follow, every one of your laws will fit inside them. I only have to remember 3 instead of 1,500. It was once said that the most ingenious thing any individual ever did was take a really simple concept and complicate the daylights out of it. Okay. And then they privatized it and said, if you want the answer to this real simple concept, then you're going to have to buy it. And you're going to have to pay me for it. Well, here's my deal for you. The tools I talk about, that I talk about on a regular basis here, absolutely they are simple, and I keep simplifying them as best I can. But these books here specifically, these ones here, they contain the same tools I'm talking about. Now, you can go back through the videos, and I will cover all of the different topics. But if you desire a handheld copy that covers the basics, that's where these come in. Okay, you'll notice I keep them small enough to be portable, thin enough so if you really desire to, if you've got to go through the chapter again, then you can. But these are the same tools I personally live by. Okay, the same ones, the same spiritual guidelines that I personally live by. Now, for success, there's a couple of things you gotta have straight in your head. Okay, that it would be wise to have straight in your head. 1, you've got to have a purpose in mind. To attain success, you've got to know what success is, or at least have an idea of what you feel it is. One way of identifying what you feel is success is look at the area right around you right now and ask yourself, are you content with the way it looks? Okay, with the way it feels. Now, I will tell you, I've got all these figures that I'm working on over here. They're not as well organized as I'd like, including this whole batch of them that's laid out here on the shelf. Okay, they're not as organized as I'd like. So I will be clearing things off and organizing them more to my liking. But you've got to have a purpose. You've got to know what you define as success. Once you do that, you've got to come up with a plan. How am I going to get there? And that's where this comes in. Okay, you write down the things that aren't working for you, that you're not content with. Okay, and by doing that, you can eliminate the things out of it that are not working right. You can reorganize them, change the flow of the energy, and thereby attain success. Okay, then the 2 last steps that are required. And I will be putting all of this in book form. Okay, but the other 2 steps that are required is you have to be persistent. You don't have to be perfect. If you step out of line with yourself, get back on the wagon and carry on. Okay, you've got to be persistent in that. And you've got to have the patience to realize this situation you're in all likelihood, did not take place overnight. It may have, but you've got to have the patience to realize it's going to take effort on your part to make it happen. Now, with that in mind, I'm going to let you go. I will be back again tomorrow. But until then, take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.